Val Matthew coming to you from Unlocking Your Potential. Hope you're having a great day wherever you are in the world. And so the question or the idea on my mind today is, how do you go from the ordinary to the extraordinary? And before we get to that shortly, just reminding you that unlocking your potential, the ideas that sort of focus us and center us are geared around big change and creating change that sticks, bringing your mind into harmony with the laws that govern your being, and getting the best out of yourself, and the idea of getting your energy to flow. So the conversations that we think about are, a little bit different to the everyday process that most people are on, their vibration and frequency. So, because if we want to sort of do well, if we want to do better, then we have to do something that's different. If you want something you've never had before, then you've got to do something you've never done before. I think I heard someone say that once. So, to go from the ordinary to the extraordinary, there's probably about 10 things that I can think of, and it makes me think of like a computer and how we protect our computers with firewalls, essentially. And so therefore, to go from the ordinary to the extraordinary, there's all these firewalls, essentially, that actually prevent you from getting to, I guess, a maximum energy state. And so the first area that I think of is this, our physical aspects of ourselves. We open our eyes and we see this three-dimensional reality, essentially. And so what's going on is all our processes, it's coming through our senses. We're programmed to pay attention to what's going on outside of us through our senses, our taste, touch, hearing, sight and smell. And so that dominates everything that's going on. Now, at the same time, what's going on is the noise of the world. You've got a mobile phone and your emails and your texts and the news media, or talking to someone, just having to be somewhere or go somewhere. There's all this noise, that's going on. So what that does, that affects our thinking, essentially. Everybody knows that they think, but one of the challenges, most people confuse mental activity with thinking. They're two different things. Thinking and mental activity are two different things. And so they would be the three things to get the ball rolling: the physical, the noise of the world, and our thinking. And so that would sort of be ordinary states. And so if we want to sort of go beyond that or go further than that, then we'd have to sort of dig into a couple of different topics. So one would be the mind, and the next one would be the paradigm. And so there's some questions that come along with that, like the mind. Have you reached the apex of the development of your mind, or have you just merely realised or recognised that you've got a mind and you just use it in an elementary way? And as it relates to the paradigm, I think of the question, what's the most important concept a person could study? And it is in fact the paradigm. And so there's many reasons as to why I would say that. So what we're doing here is we're going from the ordinary, the physical, the noise and the thinking, those 3 points, into the mind, different discussions related to the mind. And there's then also a different topic that is not really talked about almost at all, which is the paradigm. And so that would be an elevated or an advanced conversation, which are interesting conversations to have. And then we get into the next three areas of which I would call like an elite or an exceptional type of state. You're working towards that. Exceptional's unusual, and it's not something that everybody is having. It's unusual. So the areas would be reality at point number 6. Point number 7 would be a conversation around energy. What is energy? How does that energy relate to us? And also another very difficult conversation would be geared around the ego. So I call them like elite and exceptional states. And so in looking at that, the question I think about is that, who's having those conversations? And like if you went to someone and said, let's have a conversation about the ego, it's probably not going to go very far, or even energy and even reality as well. These conversations, people by and large, you know, are blocked from having those conversations because there's so much noise at the top end. There's so much, and even with the thinking, I said that, you know, people confuse thinking with mental activity. So the last two states would be what I'd call extraordinary states, and those extraordinary states are, you know, conversations around point number 9, spirit, and point number 10, which is death. And, you know, who's going to be having conversations around those things? Everything's by and large centered to those first three things: the physical aspects of our life, the noise of the world, and also our thinking. So those things there, that's why there's so many doubts, worries and insecurities in people's lives, which then defaults to fear, essentially. And that really affects people's energy, and it also affects their ability to get the results that are possible for them. So there's some ideas. I'm not sure, as I always say, there's probably more questions than answers in that. If that's got you thinking, that's a good thing. If you've liked this video, then certainly using the social media protocols, consider, you know, giving it a like or sharing it. If you've got some questions, you can certainly put a question in the box or a comment. Welcome comments. So I've enjoyed delivering this video. There is some information around this video. If you're looking for more information, it's pretty self-explanatory. So have a read through that if you are, you know, curious.